Have you ever felt like the more you explain yourself, the more people doubt you? The more you try to set the record straight, the more desperate you appear, while the ones who twisted the truth walk away untouched. It's infuriating. You're trying to defend your values, your name, your truth, but somehow it only adds fuel to their fire. And suddenly, you realize you're the one stuck in the flames they lit. But what if the real power isn't in reacting? What if it's in stepping back, saying nothing, and letting life handle them in ways your words never could? Think of it this way: when a person throws poison at you, don't drink it, don't even touch it. Let it sit there, because poison left alone always returns to its source. And that's the essence of karma. It doesn't need revenge. It just waits patiently for the consequences to catch up. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond that defines you." Your silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. In this video, we'll uncover 7 moments when your silence becomes your shield and your greatest weapon. Times when saying nothing speaks louder than any argument ever could. And if you stay till the end, you'll discover the one situation where silence not only protects you, it reclaims your power permanently. So let's begin. And remember, some battles are won not by fighting back, but by walking away and letting their actions destroy themselves. Number 1. When someone lies about you. There's a special kind of frustration that comes with hearing a lie being told about you, especially when it spreads faster than anything you've ever said or done. Suddenly, people are looking at you differently. They whisper, they assume, and worst of all, they never come to you for the truth. You feel this fire rising in your chest, the urge to clear your name, to confront the lie head-on, to explain yourself in every room you walk into. But here's the problem. Once you start chasing the truth in a room full of people already convinced of a lie, you've already lost control of the story. That's what makes this moment so dangerous. Not because of the lie itself, but because of how it tempts you to act out of character. The more you try to defend yourself, the more it looks like you have something to hide. And that's exactly what the person who spread the lie is counting on. They don't care about right or wrong. They care about getting inside your head. They're not trying to win an argument. They're trying to win your reaction. And that's why silence, in this moment, is your sharpest weapon. Let me tell you about a guy I used to know, Ethan. He worked at a tech firm in Austin. Quiet guy, smart, kept to himself. But one day, a coworker accused him of taking credit for a project he barely touched. That rumor? It spread like wildfire. Suddenly, people were talking behind his back, treating him differently. Even management pulled him off a big assignment just to be safe. Now, Ethan could have gone around begging everyone to hear his side. He could have ranted in meetings, called people out publicly, tried to fix every impression that had already formed. But he didn't. He showed up, on time, professional, polite, focused, and over time things started to shift. Turns out the same coworker who started the rumor had pulled this trick before, with others. When the truth came out, not only did Ethan get the assignment back, he got promoted. And the best part? He didn't burn a single bridge to get there. You see, when someone lies about you, they're handing you a trap, baited with emotion, ego, and pride. And the only way to win is to not take the bait. There's a quiet power in letting your actions do the talking, in trusting that your character will speak louder than the rumors ever could. Because here's the truth. Lies may travel fast, but they always run out of breath. Integrity, that has staying power. If you're in a place right now where someone's spreading false stories about you, ask yourself this. Do you want to spend your energy chasing shadows? Or do you want to become so steady, so consistent, that eventually the truth has no choice but to catch up? You don't need to scream to be heard. You don't need to prove your worth to people committed to misunderstanding you. Let your silence remind them that you are not someone who bends for gossip. You're someone who rises above it and lets life, not noise, reveal the truth. Number 2, when someone betrays your trust. There's a specific kind of pain that hits you when betrayal comes from someone close. It's not the shock of being hurt, it's the disbelief of who did it. The person you once opened up to, confided in, maybe even protected, turns out to be the one who handed you over to the fire. In that moment, everything inside you wants to react. You want to confront them. Ask why. Demand that they admit what they've done. You want them to feel even a fraction of what you're feeling. But let's pause here, because the truth is, people who betray others rarely feel guilty right away. By the time they stab you in the back, they've already written a story in their mind that makes you the problem. They need that version to sleep at night. And if you try to defend yourself, they'll twist your words. If you try to make them see your pain, they'll call you dramatic. The more you push for truth, the more they dig into the lie they've told themselves. And that's why silence isn't weakness here. It's restraint. It's strength with intention. I remember hearing a story from Mark, a manager I met during a leadership retreat in Colorado. He had spent over a year mentoring a younger coworker, coaching him, covering his mistakes, and even helping him get promoted. They were close. Mark thought of him almost like a younger brother. Until one quarterly review, that same coworker blindsided him, blaming Mark for a project delay to protect his own record. And worse, management believed it. Mark could have fought back. He could have exposed emails, screenshots, had one-on-one conversations with everyone. But instead, he did something different. He chose silence. He didn't gossip. He didn't argue. He just kept showing up, doing his job with precision and dignity. 3 months later, the same coworker pulled a similar stunt with someone else. But this time, the company had seen the pattern. They apologized to Mark, restored his role, and promoted him to lead a bigger division. Mark didn't win because he shouted the loudest. He won because he stayed calm while the truth did its job. See, when you've been betrayed, your energy becomes your most valuable currency. The more you spend it on people who've already decided you're disposable, the less you have left for building the life they were never meant to be a part of. Sometimes the best way to show someone the gravity of what they've lost is by never giving them the satisfaction of watching you beg, explain, or break. So if someone's turned their back on you, don't chase. Don't argue. Don't hand them more power through your pain. Let them speak their version of the story. Let them build their narrative, and then walk away with quiet, unshakable dignity. Because eventually, karma doesn't just knock, it echoes. If this message resonated with something you've been through, and you want more content that helps you stay calm, strong, and grounded when life gets messy, then take a second to subscribe to the channel. There's more on the way, and it's all here to help you stay silent and powerful. And those who've betrayed you will hear it in the silence you left behind. Number 3. When someone insults you, it doesn't always come as a full-blown attack. Sometimes it's a jab disguised as a joke, a comment tossed casually in front of others. Just enough sting to catch you off guard, but not enough to confront without looking too sensitive. If you've ever been in that position, you know the feeling. The room goes quiet. Eyes shift toward you, waiting. Will you fire back? Laugh it off? The truth is, most people would say something. Defend themselves. Try to put the other person in their place. But here's what's really happening in that moment. You're being baited. Not into a fight, but into giving up your emotional control. People don't always insult you because they have something to say. Often they're testing you. They want to see if they can get under your skin, if they can make you crack. Because if you do, they win. And the worst part? It rarely ends with that one insult. Once they see that it works, it becomes a pattern. Unless you break it. I remember a story a colleague told me about a guy named Brandon. He had just gotten promoted to team lead. First week on the job, he was leading a staff meeting when another coworker, who'd clearly hoped to get the same position, threw out a line right as things were starting. Guess the company's handing out titles like candy this year. It wasn't loud, but it was loud enough. A few people laughed nervously. Everyone glanced at Brandon, and what did he do? He didn't flinch. He didn't laugh. He didn't even look the guy's way. He just kept the meeting moving like it never happened. And that's when the dynamic shifted. The guy tried the same trick again later that week. Another dig, another passive jab. Same result. Nothing. Brandon gave him zero energy. No words, no reactions, just presence, focus, confidence. It didn't take long before the coworker gave up entirely. Because the one thing people who insult others can't stand is being ignored. That's the power of silence. Not because it makes you weak, but because it makes you untouchable. Insults only land if you open the door. If you refuse to respond, you take away the one thing the insulter wants most, your reaction. That doesn't mean you're okay with what was said. It means you're smart enough not to let it rent space in your mind, because words come and go. Reputations, however, are built on how you carry yourself, especially when someone tries to drag you down. So next time someone tries to poke at you, don't give them the dignity of a reply. Let them stew in their own bitterness. Let their words hang in the air with nowhere to go. Because people notice. And over time, karma has a funny way of circling back. Not with revenge, but with revelation. The one who tried to shame you ends up exposed. And you walk away calm, respected, and completely in control. Number 4. When they play the victim. There's a special kind of manipulation that doesn't look like an attack. It looks like a cry for help. But don't be fooled. Some people weaponize weakness. They turn their own mistakes into your guilt. And the moment you try to explain or set the record straight, you become exactly what they wanted, the villain in their story. These people don't want clarity. They want control. Not through facts, but through sympathy. You've probably seen it before. You call out someone's bad behavior. Maybe they lied, maybe they sabotaged something important, and instead of owning up, they break into tears. Suddenly, they're the ones who've been hurt, not you. They redirect the spotlight onto themselves. And if you push back even gently, you're seen as cruel, aggressive, or insensitive. That's the trap. The more you respond, the deeper you sink. Every word you say gets twisted. Every attempt to explain looks like you're bullying someone who's already suffering. You're not dealing with someone who wants resolution. You're standing on a stage where the script has already been written and you've been cast as the bad guy. Let me tell you a story. A guy named Mike worked at a logistics company in Indiana. One of his team members, Eric, was constantly messing up shipment logs, sloppy errors that cost the company money. Mike tried to handle it quietly, in private, no yelling, no drama, just facts. But instead of taking responsibility, Eric ran to HR in tears, claiming Mike was creating a hostile work environment. The situation flipped overnight. For a moment, Mike was under review, but he didn't panic. He didn't defend himself on Slack or whisper in corners trying to win people over. He kept doing his job, professional, respectful, consistent. 6 weeks later, Eric filed another complaint, this time about someone else. Same tears, same story. By then, HR had started to connect the dots. Mike's silence wasn't weakness, it was proof of character. And Eric? He exposed himself without Mike ever lifting a finger. Because here's the truth. People who constantly play the victim eventually repeat their act too many times. And when they do, the audience starts to realize it's not a tragedy, it's a performance. So when someone tries to flip the narrative and cast themselves as the poor, wounded soul while painting you as the villain, don't explain, don't justify, let them keep talking. Because the more they speak, the more the mask slips. And the more consistent you stay, the clearer the contrast becomes. Your silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. And in time, people always notice who stands tall and who hides behind tears. So next time someone paints themselves as the helpless victim while rewriting the truth, remember, your silence is more powerful than any speech. Just step back and let their patterns speak louder than your defense. And we're not done yet. There are still more moments where your silence can protect your peace and even turn the tables completely. Let's move on. And hey, if this message hits home for you, or if you've been that quiet one holding the line, subscribe to Stoic Spirit. This is where strength learns to speak, by knowing when not to. Number 5. When they ignore your worth. There's a moment most of us don't talk about. It's not when we're insulted or lied to. It's when we're completely overlooked. You give your time, you show up early, you stay late, you smooth out the chaos behind the scenes without asking for recognition. And still, somehow, you're invisible. It's a different kind of pain. Not loud like betrayal, not sharp like an insult, but a quiet erosion, like watching yourself disappear in a room full of people who should know better. But here's the mistake many people make. When they feel unseen, they start talking more, bragging, over-explaining, dropping hints about everything they've done. But that just makes things worse, because you're now trying to sell yourself to someone who's already decided you're ordinary. Instead, silence is your answer. Not bitter silence, not passive-aggressive silence, but deliberate, dignified silence, the kind that pulls your energy back and reminds you where it truly belongs. Let me tell you about Jason. He's a lead engineer at a tech firm in Austin. The guy everyone calls when a server crashes at 2 a.m. The one who covers for his team, rewrites bad code, keeps everything from falling apart. But during the company's end-of-quarter celebration, his name wasn't even mentioned. No thank you, no shout-out, just a pat on the back. And more expectations. That night, Jason didn't confront anyone. No angry emails, no dramatic speeches. What he did was simple. He stopped volunteering to stay late. He stopped fixing messes without being asked. He stopped showing up like his presence didn't need to be earned. And within 2 weeks, the system started breaking down. Tasks were late, mistakes piled up. People noticed, not because Jason shouted, but because he disappeared. Eventually, they came back around. Recognition, respect, responsibility. But this time, it was on his terms. You don't have to beg people to see your value. You don't have to scream to be heard. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is withdraw your presence and let the absence speak for itself. People who take you for granted only realize your worth when you're no longer the safety net they assumed would always be there. So if someone ignores your contribution, your effort, your loyalty, don't fight for their approval. Step back. Let the silence show them what they're really missing. And remember, silence isn't empty, it's full of truth. Number 6. When they try to provoke you. There's a special kind of person who doesn't want peace. They want a reaction. They throw jabs, roll their eyes, push your buttons, waiting to see if you'll take the bait. And let's be honest, sometimes you do. Because it's hard not to. It's hard when someone mocks you in public, questions your intelligence, or spreads just enough sarcasm to make your blood boil. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The second you react, you lose. You've handed over your peace in exchange for a moment of fury. And that's exactly what they wanted. Let me tell you about Mike. Mike works as a shift supervisor at a popular restaurant in Denver. There's this one cook, let's call him Derek, who constantly challenges Mike's authority. Snarky remarks in front of new staff, smirks during meetings, even jokes at Mike's expense when customers aren't around. At first, Mike used to snap back. He'd try to shut Derek down on the spot, but every time he did, he walked away feeling worse, not better. And somehow, Derek only seemed more energized after every clash. One night, Mike decided to try something else. During the usual evening prep, Derek fired off another smug comment about how the boss just likes hearing himself talk. Instead of biting back, Mike paused, looked him in the eye, gave a calm half smile and said, "Noted." Then he turned around and kept moving. No escalation, no raised voice, no argument. Just silence and control. And something strange happened. Derek kept trying for a few days, but it wasn't fun anymore. Without Mike's anger, he had nothing to feed off. He eventually stopped. See, some people aren't trying to connect. They're trying to pull you into their chaos so they don't have to face their own. They need your reaction to feel powerful. But when you stay calm, when you stay grounded, they lose access to that power. You're not playing their game anymore. You're standing above it. This isn't weakness. It's restraint. It's knowing that silence doesn't mean surrender. It means self-respect. So the next time someone tries to get a rise out of you, ask yourself, is this person worth the energy? Do I want to be controlled by their chaos or led by my own clarity? You can't always stop people from being petty or loud or disrespectful, but you can make a choice every single time not to give them the show they're hoping for. And that quiet choice, that's your power. Let karma deal with their behavior. Your job is to protect your peace like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. So the next time someone tries to get a rise out of you, ask yourself, is this person worth the energy? Do I want to be controlled by their chaos or led by my own clarity? You can't always stop people from being petty or loud or disrespectful, but you can make a choice every single time not to give them the show they're hoping for. And that quiet choice, that's your power. Let karma deal with their behavior. Your job is to protect your peace like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. And speaking of protection, what happens when life forces you to face hard truths about others and even yourself? Let's talk about that in the next section. If this message hit home for you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Not for me, for you. Because the more we grow together, the more silent strength we build, day by day. Number 7. When they regret losing you. There comes a time when silence becomes louder than any explanation. That moment, it's when someone finally realizes they lost you, and there's no way back. They remember the conversations they didn't value, the efforts they overlooked, the presence they took for granted. But by then, your absence is no longer a warning. It's a decision, a final act. And the most powerful part? You didn't scream. You didn't fight. You simply walked away and stayed gone. The truth is, many people don't recognize your worth when you're right in front of them. They grow comfortable, entitled even. They believe you'll always be there, no matter how little they show appreciation or effort. But silence has a way of making people face the consequences of their actions. When you stop calling, stop checking in, stop giving pieces of yourself, they start to feel something they never expected: regret. But regret isn't love. Regret is discomfort with the results of their choices. And it's not your job to make them feel better about what they've lost. If someone truly valued you, they would have shown it when they had the chance. Real connection is not about begging for attention. It's about mutual presence, mutual respect. The moment you have to explain your worth, you've already given away too much. Imagine a candle lighting up a dark room every single night. People become so used to the light, they stop noticing it. They assume it will always be there, until one day, it's gone. And suddenly they're left in the cold, realizing they never appreciated the warmth until it disappeared. That's what it feels like when someone finally wakes up to the emptiness your silence leaves behind. So how do you respond when someone regrets losing you? You don't. You don't chase. You don't reply with, "I told you so." You don't reopen doors they were careless enough to close. Your silence is the lesson. It's the consequence. And it's also your power. Letting go is not weakness, it's strength. It's knowing that your peace is worth more than their half-hearted apologies. It's having the wisdom to walk away. Not because you stopped caring, but because they never truly did. And now the space where you used to be is a reminder that not everyone gets a second chance. When someone regrets losing you, let them sit in that realization. Let them hear the echo of your silence. Because sometimes, the only way people learn is through the absence of what they thought would never leave. Silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. In this noisy world, knowing when to speak and when to step back is a form of power most people never master. You've just learned 7 moments where staying silent isn't just the right move, it's the strongest move. Whether it's betrayal, insult, provocation, or someone finally realizing your worth too late, your calm response speaks louder than any argument ever could. And the best part? You can start applying this today. You don't need to wait. The next time someone tries to pull you into drama, pause. Breathe. Let your silence carry the weight. If this message spoke to you, make sure to subscribe to Stoic Spirit so you never miss another reminder of your strength. And when you're ready for more, check out the videos waiting for you at the end of this one. They'll help you go even deeper on your journey to unshakable calm.